Now, The Bachelor, Chris Eggert's segment. He's been watching this for years now, every Monday, dutifully.
I never miss it, Brandy.
You've been watching The Golden Bachelor now this season on ABC? Yes? No? Yes.
I'm hearing all kinds of things about it.
Yeah, it's a spin-off of the dating show, the popular dating show. It's capturing the hearts of people all across the country. And importantly, it's actually kind of ignited some of these conversations about dating, you know. Maybe you have aged like a fine wine. You have some more years under your belt.
It can be intimidating, right? Sabrina Lorbiecki is a professional matchmaker from It's Just Lunch, here to talk about the lessons that we can take away from the show. Sabrina, good to see you.
Thank you very much for having me back.
Nice job with the rose ensemble there to match the Golden Bachelor and the rose ceremony. So what are we talking about here about the challenges for people to date when they are a little bit older?
I think some of the challenges come from inside, right? We're very much worried about how are we going to present ourselves? How are we going to talk about our spouse if they've passed, or even if it is a divorce? How do we re-engage back socially and meet someone new?
So the gentleman in the show, his name is Jerry, and he's a widower, and he has his children. They kind of talk about that and how, you know, they're all really happy for his dad to kind of find somebody. For maybe somebody who is divorced or who is widowed, you might be apprehensive about when to bring that up, how to bring that up. What kind of insight can you share with us?
I think that in any time that there is a separation or unfortunately a death, a little bit of time does need to pass. You know, healing does need to happen. For some people, that's a really short amount of time. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, but know yourself. And when you go out there and you start dating, it's okay to talk about it, but you're there to get to know the other person. So don't let it dominate your entire conversation.
Can you mention on the first date if they ask, perhaps, or should you bring it up?
I think it has to naturally come up a little bit, and we're all curious humans, and we're going to say, so tell me a little bit about your past relationship. And it's okay to dip that toe in the water, but don't knock the glass over. You know, save some of that stuff for extra dates.
Yeah, that doesn't, don't overshare, basically, what you're saying, right? I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
So what are some dating lessons that people can take away from The Bachelor?
I think it's fun, first of all, and have some excitement. Think about dating as a possibility of everything to come. What's going to happen next? No one knows, but be open to possibilities.
I think a lot of people might approach that with an anxiousness or a nervousness, or even in some, because they're so nervous, it might be a dread. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm just not sure if I can do this.
Right, what do I wear? What do I say? How do I act? I mean, even where to go. Like planning a date, maybe, especially, you know, if you're a little older, you might think, like, where do I go to actually kind of have some fun? What are some suggestions that you have?
Well, what I like to suggest is keep it local and keep it simple. You know, unfortunately, the show sometimes makes these elaborate dates, and I think people can get a little nervous about that. You know, what if I don't look like Jerry? What if I don't look like the women on the TV? What if I don't have a helicopter to whisk somebody away? Right? You know, Google things. You know, ask other people, you know, what are you guys doing? You know, right now it's apple orchard, it's pumpkin season, it's, you know, take a haunted stroll in Anoka, but do something fun and not for 7 hours. You know, keep it a little bit, you know.
Do you like the idea of, like, doing something versus just sitting in a room, looking at each other at a table?
Intensely? What's going on?
Does that take some of the awkwardness?
I think it does, absolutely. And if you kind of have a start and an end, that's why I always think, you know, either a lunch, obviously it's my job, but, you know, something a little bit on the shorter side. Even if you go for a walk where there's a start and an end, even at the end of the walk, if things are going well, hey, let's do this again. Would you like to go to a movie? Or, you know, you can always extend the date, but it's good to have something to focus on and then be able to end it and go, oh, well, this was okay. And if it wasn't, it's okay to say that and move on.
You've got that.
Right.
Well, gotta go.
Yeah.
Well, oh man. Hit the knee like a good midwife.
Yeah, I was just going to say, woof.
Well, all right then.
It's been nice. Okay, you got to tell me, Sabrina, what if, you know, you're like Jerry on the show, and perhaps you've lost a loved one, or maybe you were just the person who was broken up with. You didn't do the breaking up. And maybe you're apprehensive. Maybe you wanted to stay with that person, or of course you didn't want the person to pass. And so you're sort of thinking, no one can live up to this person, and maybe you have these expectations that are too high. I mean, how do you just within kind of get yourself mentally prepped for being open to a new person?
I would suggest taking a deep breath and relaxing and keeping in mind, how did you go on that first date with that person? Right? That person became the person they were because of you. You know, whether you were able to support that person or that person supported you, that is a chapter in your life that sadly the book had to close. And now we have to find a new book. And it's good to go back to our old book, right? It was a fun character or a fun place or a fun time, but it's okay to say, I can read another book. I can do this again.
Makes sense. Sabrina, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you.
Absolutely.
Good
Thank
advice.
you.
And you can watch The Golden Bachelor. Airs right here on Channel 5 Thursdays at 7.